Once upon a time, deep in the heart of a dense jungle, a group of 5 adventurers set off on an expedition that would change their lives forever. They were a diverse team: Jake, the fearless leader; Lily, the wildlife expert; Sam, the tech genius; Maya, the archaeologist; and Tom, the survivalist. They had one mission: to find a legendary treasure hidden in the ancient ruins of the Lost Temple of Vohara, rumored to be cursed. The journey began with excitement as they trekked through towering trees, thick vines, and echoing sounds of wild animals. As the sun set, the jungle became eerily quiet, but the group pressed on, guided by an old map Jake had inherited from his grandfather. They set up camp for the night, unaware that something was watching them from the shadows. The next morning, the real adventure began. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the terrain grew harsher, and the air felt heavy with mystery. Suddenly, the ground beneath Maya gave way, and she plunged into a hidden pit. The group quickly sprang into action, using ropes and their combined skills to pull her out. But what they found at the bottom of the pit shocked them. Ancient carvings, the same symbols from the map, hinting they were on the right path. Just as their hopes were rising, strange sounds echoed through the trees. It was not the usual jungle noises. It was something else. Something sinister. Tom's eyes widened. "We're being followed," he whispered. The group quickened their pace, but the stalker was persistent. Branches cracked, leaves rustled, and shadows danced just out of sight. Panic began to set in, but Jake kept them moving, determined to reach the temple before nightfall. As dusk approached, they arrived at a clearing, and there it was, the Lost Temple of Vohara. Covered in moss and vines, the ancient structure was both beautiful and intimidating, but there was no time to admire it. A low growl emerged from behind them, and out of the trees came a massive black panther with glowing green eyes. It was the guardian of the temple, and it wasn't happy. The group scrambled towards the entrance of the temple, the panther close on their heels. Tom used his survival skills to distract the beast with a flare, while the others rushed inside. The temple's interior was just as Jake's grandfather had described: dark, damp, and filled with traps. With the panther still prowling outside, they had no choice but to navigate the maze of ancient puzzles and deadly obstacles. Lily identified a series of pressure plates on the floor, warning the group to step carefully. Sam hacked into an ancient mechanism that triggered a hidden door. Maya deciphered an ancient script that revealed the final challenge: a room filled with dart-shooting statues. With Jake leading the way, they dodged traps, barely escaping with their lives. Finally, they reached the treasure room, where a magnificent golden idol stood at the center. But as Maya approached it, the ground began to shake, and the walls started to close in. Realizing the temple was collapsing, Jake shouted, "Grab the idol and run!" Maya snatched the idol, and the group sprinted towards the exit, dodging falling debris and crumbling walls. As they burst out of the temple, the panther lunged at them one last time. Tom, with quick reflexes, threw a smoke bomb, disorienting the beast long enough for the group to escape into the jungle. Breathless and exhausted, they finally made it back to their camp as the temple collapsed behind them, forever sealing the entrance to the treasure. They had survived the jungle, outsmarted the ancient traps, and lived to tell the tale of their incredible adventure. As they sat around the campfire that night, the golden idol glistening in the firelight, they knew that this was more than just an expedition. It was a test of their courage, their trust in one another, and their will to survive the unknown. And though the jungle had almost claimed them, they had come out victorious, adventurers to the end. As the group sat around the campfire, exhausted but triumphant, a strange sense of unease settled over them. They had the golden idol in their possession, but something about it didn't feel right. Its surface was cold to the touch, and there seemed to be a faint hum emanating from it, like a distant heartbeat. Maya, fascinated by its ancient craftsmanship, examined it closely. This idol is no ordinary treasure, she muttered, her eyes scanning the intricate designs carved into the gold. It's a key to something much bigger. The others exchanged uneasy glances. They had barely escaped the temple with their lives, but it seemed their adventure wasn't over yet. Jake, ever the leader, leaned in, his expression serious. We need to figure out what this idol is really for. If it's a key, then to what? And why was it hidden behind all those traps? Lily, the wildlife expert, spoke up. We should also consider the legend. The curse of Vohara was supposed to protect something far more valuable than gold. Maybe it wasn't just superstition. Sam, always curious, reached for his laptop, connecting it to a satellite uplink. I'll see if I can find any more information about the temple and the idol, he said, typing rapidly. After a few moments, his face paled. Guys, you're not going to believe this. What is it? Jake asked. Sam turned the screen around to show them. According to ancient texts, the Lost Temple of Vohara wasn't just a treasure vault. It was a containment facility. This idol, it's not a symbol of wealth. It's a seal. A seal? Maya echoed, her brow furrowed. What is it sealing? The texts are vague, but it seems to be holding back something called the Dark One, Sam replied. A being of immense power, trapped within the temple for thousands of years. If the idol is removed, the seal is broken. A cold chill ran through the group. The ground began to tremble, and the jungle, which had been eerily silent, suddenly erupted with the sounds of distant howls and roars. The air grew thick, and the temperature dropped. I think we've just unleashed something, Tom whispered, his eyes darting around the camp. Before anyone could react, the jungle around them came alive with movement. Shadows flickered between the trees, and strange glowing eyes appeared in the darkness. The panther from earlier was nowhere to be seen, but a new terror had emerged. Creatures they couldn't quite make out, twisted dark figures that seemed to be part of the jungle itself, began closing in on them. We need to put the idol back, Jake shouted, grabbing the artifact. We have to return it to the temple before it's too late. But the temple collapsed, Maya cried. There's no way in. We'll have to find another way, Jake insisted. If this thing is truly a seal, then breaking it any further could release whatever's been trapped for all these centuries. Without wasting another second, the group gathered their gear and ran. The jungle was no longer just a backdrop to their adventure. It was a living, breathing threat. The howls grew louder, and the air felt charged with malevolent energy. It was as if the jungle itself was working against them, the vines tripping them up, the branches scratching at their skin. Lily, being familiar with the terrain, led them through a series of shortcuts, navigating the maze-like forest with precision. As they neared the temple's ruins, they realized just how dire the situation had become. The earth